So there's been some people complaining about this video game that's going to come out that has a woman samurai as the main character. What's a woman samurai? That's not very historic. Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, no, tons of it. Like not as a rule, but generally the further you go back, generally the more proportion. Which makes sense, really. Like it was a caste system, right? Like there's the samurai caste. When you're a caste system, you really want to enforce this idea that like the castes are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, you want the warrior caste to be warrioring regardless of gender. Apparently, they recently found, like, the remains of a battle where, like, something like 1/3 of the bodies were found to be women. So it probably wasn't even just the warrior caste. It was just, like, soldiers in general as well. Oh, it's not historically accurate. Well, as far as, like, historical Japanese stuff, we should be seeing a lot more of it, really. Like, it probably wouldn't even be remarkable. Like, if you were to meet a female samurai, you'd be like, yes, there are female samurai. Why are we always... Yeah, I get the feeling these people aren't actually concerned about, like, historical accuracy. They just don't like women. Yeah, I get the feeling that's really the case. Wait until they find out the samurai are kind of gay. Yeah. Wait, what? Did you say? Bro. Oh, I don't mean like, oh, they're freaking gay. I mean like, no, they were kind of gay. Yeah. You're gonna need to explain, like, now. Oh yeah, no, samurai and so on, like taking lovers and even having like contracts of things like contracts of exclusivity, like basically prenups and things like that. Yeah, no, that was quite common apparently. Like, like between men though. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, like nothing says you're gay like a contract saying you're gay. It's not even a joke. That's just, I mean, what more do you want? Actually, very similar to like the Greco-Roman sort of a period. In like Greek and Roman, it was very common for like important people to take like proteges, like take people under their wing, and often part of that arrangement would have some aspect of sexuality to it. Okay, now this bit of speculation, I have nothing to back this up, but it was quite common to have proteges, and not just the men having like male proteges, but also the women having female proteges. Now, naturally, throughout history, people tend not to write down what women are doing at any one time. But I will also point out that the majority of emperors were not like the sons of the previous emperors. They were often adopted by the previous emperors as having been their proteges. Are you about to say that you think that emperors that took over from the previous ones and weren't usurpers probably had some relationship with them? I have nothing to back it up, so no, but yeah. You know, I think when people say that they think about the Roman Empire a lot, I don't think this is what people mean. Okay, look, really what I'm saying here is that, like, don't take your idea of what you think that culture should be because you're uncomfortable with the idea of homosexuality and trying to implant that on, like, historical shit. Because we've got the receipts. Like, again, it's in writing. Now, I do also want to point out that, like, the age issue and power dynamics issue is a thing. These are time periods when no one was terribly concerned about harm done to children. And, like, they're not going to be treating children well regardless of gender, regardless of these sorts of situations. But it was common for samurai to take on apprentices, and for part of that deal to be, yeah. Is that weird and uncomfortable? Absolutely. Does it have to do necessarily with gender? Not necessarily. Now, I don't necessarily know how common it was for each gender, like a male samurai taking on a male apprentice, or a male samurai taking on a female apprentice, or a female samurai taking on female apprentices. Like, people historically are treating children just as badly in hetero relationships as these ones. The takeaway here is that historically Japan was not as weird about homosexuality as we are now. They were, like the rest of our cultures were, not treating children very well, but that's pretty much everywhere. What I am saying is that the idea of a main character in a historical Japanese thingamy to be a female samurai is perfectly reasonable. You know what else would be reasonable? If she also kissed other women. All of these people that are like, oh, it's all this woke nonsense. Like, you want it historically accurate? I'll give you historically accurate. You know what? You asked for it. Jedi. You know what? Heavily based on what? Samurai. The whole Zen Buddhist sort of an aspects. Are part of your young Padawan's duties to... I'm not going to say that. Look, that's a specific IP thing. However, if based on the inspirations around this sort of an idea, you were more accurate, then like that would be a thing that you might want to bring up in like a side story at some point. Like, there's just this assumption that like going back in time, people are like less comfortable with sex. No. What, you think the Buddhist monks weren't going at each other? They were. They wrote it down. The modern idea of what the past is and or what now should be doesn't actually have any bearing on what the past actually was. So, like, shut up is kind of what I'm saying. I'm not going to put subtitles on this video. I think that's just safe. That's just safe. Also, I met a lizard when I was taking the compost out. Look at him. It's adorable.